lives. Everyone thought I was lucky, married into money, living comfortably. What they didn't see was how quietly I disappeared.
People always thought I was lucky. Married into money, living in a house where my own voice felt small, wearing suits that fit the room even when I didn't. They talked about my life like it was a prize I'd won. Not a role I was slowly disappearing into. I learned early that comfort can be loud, but loneliness is always polite. It doesn't interrupt. It just waits by the wall and learns how to smile without being seen. At my daughter's engagement party, I stood near the window, holding a glass of water I never touched. The room buzzed with laughter and compliments that floated past me like I was just part of the furniture. Couples leaned together, old friends nodded at me, then turned away to someone more interesting. No one was unkind. That was the strangest part. I was simply unnecessary. My wife, Marianne, moved through the room like gravity belonged to her. She was always good at commanding a space. I used to admire that, but over the years, admiration turned into accommodation, and accommodation turned into silence. She tapped her glass, raised it high, and our daughter beamed beside her. Marianne spoke about new beginnings, about courage, about choosing happiness. Her words were polished, rehearsed. And I realized in that moment she wasn't just talking about our daughter. The story had moved on without me. I didn't confront her. I didn't cause a scene. I went upstairs and slept in the guest room, staring at the ceiling fan. Silence had always been my strength. People mistake it for weakness, but silence sees everything. The signs had been there for a while. The late dinners. The phone calls taken outside. A new brightness in her voice that I no longer caused. When I noticed, I didn't panic. I prepared. I met with an attorney, a quiet, meticulous man who believes paperwork tells the truth better than people do. We reviewed decades of financial decisions. Trust from before my marriage, assets I had inherited and maintained separately. Marianne never cared about the details. She trusted signatures more than she trusted understanding. I let that remain true. When I finally filed for divorce, she was shocked. Not that the marriage was ending, but that I had ended it without asking her permission. She called it cruel. My daughter agreed, saying I should be grateful for the years we had. Gratitude, apparently, was expected even for betrayal. I listened to it all without interrupting, and then I simply wished them well. That sentence landed harder than anger ever could. The legal demands came quickly, confident, and aggressive. They wanted the house, the accounts, the future. What they got instead was reality. Documents don't argue. Timelines don't lie. My daughter came to see me saying I was choosing pride over family. I told her I was choosing boundaries. She didn't understand the difference then. Months passed. The affair ended, as they often do, without ceremony. Marianne reached out with fragile, late apologies. I didn't answer. The divorce finalized quietly, just the closing of a door that had been open for too long. I moved into a smaller house near the edge of town and learned how much space I actually needed. It wasn't much. 2 years later, I saw Marianne in a grocery store. She looked different, not worse, just real, tired in an honest way. We exchanged polite words. She said she understood now. I just nodded. Understanding doesn't require reconciliation. That evening, my son from my first marriage visited. We cooked dinner, we talked, we laughed. The house felt warm, full. Not because it was impressive, but because no one inside was pretending. I used to think being invisible was a failure. Now I know it was training. It taught me observation, patience, and how to leave without burning everything down. Some people lose everything loudly. Others just walk away quietly and keep the most important things intact. And for the first time in years, that felt like enough. Thanks for listening.